What's up, everybody? I'm Chris Rose, and alongside with me are Mel Kiper Jr. and Bucky Brooks, and we are here to bring you our mock drafts for the NFL season. Today we are recording this on our 1-year anniversary of GMs for Hire, so shout out to everybody who's been a part of the movement prior to today. And this was our first ever video. We did a draft recap, so might as well get our first ever mock draft in before the draft this weekend. So let's go ahead and let's cover it up. We're going to do 5 picks at a time, just go over through everybody's picks. And we're going to start 1 through 5. Jamil, why don't you lead us off? Who do you have going 1 through 5?
No surprise. Number 1, I got the Jaguars taking Trevor Lawrence. Number 2, I got the Jets taking Zach Wilson. Number 3, I got the San Francisco 49ers going with Trey Lance at quarterback. At number 4, I got the Falcons going with Kyle Pitts. And at 5, I have the Bengals going with Jamar Chase.
Okay, so you went Trey Lance is going to be the guy that they're going to come up and trade for.
Yeah, that's what I went with.
Alrighty. RJ, we'll throw it over to you. Are you similar along the ways, or where do you differ?
Similar, yeah. We got Jacksonville taking Trevor Lawrence. That's obvious. The Jets taking Zach Wilson. At 3, I've got the 49ers taking Mac Jones. And I don't like that pick at all. I don't think they should take Mac Jones. You gave up 3 first-round picks to go get a quarterback. Draft someone different than what you already have. Like, apparently you aren't sold on Jimmy Garoppolo as your guy. So why would you want another stand in the pocket, not very mobile guy to lead your franchise? It makes more sense if they're going to trade up that they want something different like a Justin Fields or a Trey Lance. So I like that Trey Lance pick, but I went with Mac Jones. I've got Kyle Pitts going 4 to Atlanta. As a Bucks and Panthers fan, I don't want to have to deal with that 4 times a year, but it is what it is. And then the Bengals. There's all that talk about Jamar Chase and reuniting him with Burrow. That would be awesome. But Burrow didn't finish the season for a reason. He could not get protection at all. And that protection has to come in the form of Penei Sewell, the offensive lineman from Oregon. That's who I've got Cincinnati taking at 5.
I like your picks there. I definitely like your picks. I'm going to differ in one way from both of you. I actually don't have Kyle Pitts going in the first 5. I know that he totally should. The guy's ridiculous at his position, and the guy absolutely balled out at his pro day. But I'm a little bit different. I think you can almost concrete the picks 1 and 2, Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. I think that's kind of the consensus one too, and that's just kind of where we're at. It used to be Justin Fields, and now that boy is sliding down boards. So similar with everybody else, Lawrence, Wilson, 1 and 2. I'm with RJ on this one. I do have them going Mac Jones. I don't know why. I personally would not go Mac Jones, especially with a top 5 pick. Look at the history of Alabama quarterbacks. Maybe it's just me. Maybe he's the guy to break it. Who knows? But personally, I'm not a big fan of it. I think there are 2 other quarterbacks that are still on the board better than Mac Jones. So I have the 49ers going up to go get him. They seem to be very intent on him. I mean, nothing's concrete, but it definitely seems you don't make a move that big without going to go get somebody that you think is going to change your franchise. And I mean, other than Kyle Pitts, I mean, who else is going to change a franchise out here? But they already have George Kittle, so it doesn't make sense. Going to Atlanta at 4, I have the first 4 picks all being quarterbacks. I actually went Trey Lance out of North Dakota State going to Atlanta. There's been a lot of speculation about Matt Ryan and whether or not he's going to be the guy moving forward. So I went ahead, brought in a little bit of competition to the veteran, and we'll see exactly how they can deal with that. And then number 5, Penei Sewell. I think you have to protect Burrow. You have your guy. As much as a weapon would be nice, you can get decent weapons later on. Every single year we see later on picks in the later rounds, 3rd, 4th, 5th, so on and so forth. There's always a gem out there in wide receiver. I'm sure Cincinnati can find somebody later on. They need to protect Burrow. They need to get him back and get him a concrete, solid pocket, because we saw what he did last year without a pocket. Imagine what he could do with protection. So I have Penei Sewell out of Oregon going number 5 to the Bengals.
I put Chase because I just think that's what they're going to do. I think they should pick Penei Sewell, but just off the Bengals draft history I was looking at, I think they're going to go receiver because they've done it. They've done it back-to-back drafts 2 times in the 2000s. I think they're going to do it again this year. Or they're going to do it now with Chase. And I refuse to believe the Niners picked Mac Jones. I refuse to believe they do that. That would be so bad. I agree with RJ and y'all. That doesn't make any sense. I refuse to believe they did all that to get Mac Jones.
I would be thoroughly shocked and have lots of questions for the front office if that's what they do.
The thing with Mac Jones, are we sure that he's that good?
No.
Here's a guy that literally had a perfect scenario. You get to play for Nick Saban. Okay, your offensive coordinator was Steve Sarkisian, who ended up taking the Texas job. That's one of the premier jobs in college football. So you had a very good offensive coordinator. You have the greatest head coach of all time. Oh, by the way, your starting running back is going to be a first-round pick. And including last year and this year, your top 4 wide receivers are all first-round picks. And you're playing behind an offensive line that I believe is going to have 2 players I don't have in the first round, but I think they're both second rounders. So, I mean, this guy has literally, he hasn't had any, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for here. There's been nothing go wrong for him. Like, he's got everything handed to him. What is he going to see? Like, how is he going to react in the NFL when he doesn't have elite wide receivers 1 through 4, and he doesn't have the best coach, and he doesn't have the best offensive coordinator and a stud running back? Like, he had everything tailor-made for him. If he has any sort of whatever, how is he going to react? That's what I want to know.
And that's something that the 49ers could be looking into. You know, this is something, I mean, obviously whenever you take a quarterback, it's always the question mark. We've seen some great quarterbacks go from godsends to trash bins, basically, whenever you come to the NFL. So we'll see exactly what comes of picks 1 through 6. Moving on to picks 6 through 10, we've got Miami, Detroit, Carolina, Denver, and Dallas on the board as of right now. RJ, I'll have you start with pick number 6.
So at number 6, I'm going with Jamar Chase out of LSU. I know there's some people that aren't really sold on Tua yet, and maybe they think Miami should take Justin Fields. The Tua that we saw at Alabama was elite, and I thought that dude was just as good as Joe Burrow, in my opinion. Tua was a stud in college. Now, he did not look great his rookie year, but you're talking about a guy coming off of a major hip injury. He did not have a real training camp or really anything that was legit of a rookie year because of COVID, and he had to split reps with Ryan Fitzpatrick. And Devontae Parker's his number 1. I don't really think Devontae Parker's a number 1 receiver in the NFL. I think he's good, but I think you need to put weapons around Tua. That way you can see what you've got. You made an investment. You drafted him with a top 5 pick. You need to see what you got. So I think you give Tua Jamar Chase. At 7, I've got the Detroit Lions taking Devontae Smith. I don't care how skinny this guy is. Kevin Durant's little and skinny, and he's elite. Devontae Smith, by the way, won the Heisman Trophy. I don't know if everybody forgot because apparently he's only, 150, 160, whatever. The guy is a baller. He is a stud. He was the first wide receiver to win the Heisman since Desmond Howard? Like, this guy is very good at football. Size isn't everything. Okay, we saw, Jamarcus Russell. We've seen these big guys. Oh, look at Kelvin Benjamin. The Panthers drafted him because he was a big body that could do stuff. Well, then that body just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we know what happened there. Devontae Smith can go. That dude should not be falling. Detroit needs to replace Megatron. They never did it. They literally never replaced Megatron. How about the Heisman Trophy winner wide receiver? Do that. At least give Jared Goff something, your boy.
Yeah.
At number 8, I don't think the Carolina Panthers are going to pick at number 8. I have Washington trading up to 8, and they are going to take Justin Fields. Justin Fields, in my opinion, should be the number 2 pick in the draft to the New York Jets. There is no reason for that dude to be falling as far as he is. The slide has to stop somewhere. And I think Washington is going to trade up all the way to number 8 with Carolina, take Justin Fields. I think Washington is a sleeping giant. Everyone that watched our, prediction videos last year for every week, I love Washington. I love Coach Ron Rivera. That defensive line's disgusting. If they get an elite quarterback or even a top 10 quarterback, watch out. That division's over, in my opinion. I think Washington is a quarterback away from being disgusting. And I think Justin Fields is that guy that's going to take them deep into the playoffs. And part of that also is I want Carolina to have 2 first-round picks for next year. I'll get to that at a later date.
Come back to next year's draft video.
Yes, sir. At number 9, I got Denver taking Trey Lance. They got to figure out their quarterback situation. Since John Elway took over as the VP, GM, whatever he is, Grand Poobah of Denver, they have not had a quarterback other than Peyton Manning. They have not drafted a quarterback that was any good. Tim Tebow actually won him a playoff game, and they decided to replace him. It was with Peyton, so it makes sense. But then Drew Lock, Paxton Lynch, some of these other scrubs they've been throwing out there, they can't get it right. And when you're in a division with Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes, you better figure out the quarterback position. Is Trey Lance the guy? I don't know. We're going to have to see, but I think they just go ahead and take him. And then at 10, this is insane to me that we are at the 10th pick and the first defensive player is going to be drafted. The Dallas Cowboys defense was awful last year. They got to get some corners. I think Patrick Surtain out of Alabama is the pick for Dallas.
There you go. A lot of even more quarterbacks coming off. I mean, it seems like this could easily be a record year for quarterbacks in the first round. It seems like there's a consensus 5 or 6 that may go easily. Jamil, we'll turn it over to you, 6 through 10.
All right, for me, couple things similar to RJ player position-wise. Obviously, player-wise, we're going to differ. But I have the Dolphins going with Jalen Waddle, the receiver out of Alabama. It seems like the scouts, they love Waddle a lot more than his counterpart Smith. So I think he's going to be the second wide receiver taken following Jamar Chase in mine. At 7, the Lions. I have that. This is my lone trade of the draft. I have the New England Patriots moving up to where the Lions are. I have them taking Justin Fields. And I think this is a horrible, horrible disaster for all the rest of the league to let Justin Fields fall into the lap of New England Patriots. And we're all going to look pretty dumb if that happens. Opposite of RJ, I have his Panthers staying with their pick, and I have them picking Penei Sewell, the tackle out of Oregon. I have the Broncos going with good old Mac Jones. It was between him and Micah Parsons for me with this pick. Like you said, RJ, they need a quarterback, and they got to see what they have over there. They got the weapons, but they don't have stable quarterback play. We'll see if Mac Jones can bring them stability. And rounding it out, I agree. I think Patrick Surtain is going to be the pick for the Cowboys. They have the sharp corner. He'll be opposite of his former teammate in college, Trevon Diggs. And the Cowboys look to build up that secondary.
Fair enough. I mean, I think we're all kind of in the same boats here. Obviously, I have to address where Kyle Pitts is going, so that'll be addressed somewhere in here since I didn't have him going top 5. 6 and 7, I'm actually right there with RJ. I have Jamar Chase out of LSU going to Miami, and then I have Devonta Smith going to Detroit right behind him. It's one of those to where if I'm a team and I'm taking a wide receiver personally, I'm taking Devonta Smith first. But Jamar Chase has been valued quite high. I don't know if it's just recency bias for me since Jamar Chase did sit out. Maybe that's what it is. And then the Heisman, of course, Devonta Smith played absolutely phenomenal. And I would take him before, but I still think that Jamar Chase ends up being the pick at 6, while Smith falls to 7. Buy the jersey, RJ. Kyle Pitts coming to Carolina. That's exactly where I have him going. I think that would be a great piece for whatever quarterback's going to play out there in Carolina right now, looking like Sam Darnold. Hopefully somebody else later in the future. We'll see that in the next draft video, hopefully next year. Whenever it came to 9, I was between 2 people similar to Jamil. And just like Jamil, it was Justin Fields and it was Micah Parsons. Personally, I went Micah Parsons to Denver at number 9. I think they are in desperate need of a linebacker spot. And after 4 quarterbacks in my draft have already gone, do you want to take Justin Fields? Personally, you probably should. But ultimately, I had them going defense prior to prioritizing defense. It seems like the front office is pretty content with Drew Lock still. I haven't heard too many things about Drew Lock needing to be taken out, even though that's the general consensus. But yeah, so Micah Parsons going at 9. And then at 10, we're all in agreement, Patrick Surtain to the Dallas Cowboys. It almost seems like it's guaranteed. which is weird because there aren't many picks typically out of 1 and 2 that are almost a lock. Patrick Surtain just seems to make sense in Dallas. So that's who I'm going with at number 10, similar to y'all.
RJ, I like your move for Washington. I definitely think they're continuing to trade up since we can only do so many. I only have the one, but I definitely think they can trade up. And I think Mac Jones is going to be the quarterback that slides, and I think Washington can trade for him. And I definitely agree with you that Justin Fields should be the number 2 pick in this draft.
Absolutely,
he's going to be the Deshaun Watson of the draft.
I know it's
Deshaun Watson 2.0.
I actually, if we get done with the draft in time, I was going to bring that up later. But I love that. What do you call it? Kyle Pitts pick for Carolina. Surround Sam Darnold with as many weapons as possible. That way, if he still sucks this year, there's no question about if he's good or not. Because right now we have questions because he had nothing to work with on the Jets. I mean, he had Adam Gase, and I mean, Robbie Anderson's the best weapon he's ever had. Robbie Anderson would be the 3rd option on this team. And, oh, by the way, you have Christian McCaffrey. If they were to get Kyle Pitts or a receiver like a Devontae Smith, I would not be, mad about that. But yeah, I want to build that offense up and give Darnold weapons. That way we know for sure if he's good or not. And there's no questions going into next year's draft.
Absolutely. And I think Kyle Pitts so far, at least 1 through 10, is easily a steal of the draft on my board. I have a bigger steal coming on later in the 20s. I think somebody is going to fall pretty dramatic, but that'll come later on. Right now, we got to talk about 11 through 15. Jamil, why don't you kick us off with the New York Giants picking at 11?
The New York Giants, this is a pick I struggled with, honestly. As much as I wanted to put Devontae Smith on there, knowing Dave Gettleman, the Giants, I have them going in a complete opposite direction. I have them getting Cody Payne, the first pass rusher, off the board. I think that's where they're going to go just because it's the Giants. The Eagles, another team I wanted to put Devontae Smith to, but ultimately I think they end up going in a different direction. They go corner. They go Jace Horn. They can attack wide receiver later. The Chargers, I have them going for Sean Slater. I think they need to shore up the offensive line. You have your quarterback of the future, and I need to go ahead and protect them. The Vikings, I was between pass rush and pass protection. I ended up going with pass protection. I had them going with Ala Vera Tucker, the lineman out of USC. And the Lions, I had them trading out from 7 to where the Patriots are, and I have them ending the slide for the Heisman winner, Devontae Smith. I still have them getting the same guy RJ did just a little bit later in the draft. I think that's a win-win scenario for that team. They trade down, still get one of the best receivers in the draft that's getting slept on. And at the Cardinals, I have them going corner. I think getting Greg Newsome the 3rd. And RJ, one quick thing. You said that Devontae Smith is small and skinny. You said Kevin Durant's the same. He's skinny, but that boy is like 7 feet tall of a wingspan, man.
Well, yeah, no, I just meant real little, is his body going to hold up? And actually, I think he's injured right now, so maybe I shouldn't say that. But no, Devontae will be fine.
You got excited and went to 16. I only said 15.
Oh, did I? My fault.
It's all good. We'll throw it in there anyway. All righty. RJ, we'll toss it back to you. Back 11 through 15. We got Giants through Patriots.
Well, Jamil is absolutely right about the New York Giants. Knowing Dave Gettleman, he loves one thing and one thing only, and that's those big hog mollies on the line of scrimmage. I think the New York Giants are going to take Rashawn Slater, the offensive lineman out of Northwestern. Do they need to take a tackle 2 years in a row? Probably not, but Dave Gettleman is a sorry general manager, and he's just going to draft who he likes. He likes the hog mollies. He's going to take one. The Philadelphia Eagles at 12, they have got to get a receiver. You cannot. Last year, after missing on Justin Jefferson, and then this year trading out of number 6 when you were going to have one of the elites of Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, or Pitts fall to you, and you trade it out. I'm not a Philadelphia Eagles fan, but if I was, I would be losing my mind. I don't care who's playing quarterback. If you don't have someone to throw to, you're not going to look good. And I think they take Jalen Waddle. I think they have to. If they don't take a wide receiver, the city of Philadelphia might just burn down Thursday night. You have got to take a receiver. This is almost as bad as Green Bay not drafting receivers because they just don't do it. Philly's starting to get there, or they just take the wrong one because I know they took Jalen Reagor last year. You could have had Justin Jefferson. Like, come on, you cannot miss. And I think Jalen Waddle's very good. I think they take him. The Chargers at 13, I have them taking J.C. Horn out of South Carolina. I feel like the Chargers except for last year because they had Herbert. I feel like they always draft cornerbacks in the first round. I don't know why I feel like that. I just think they do. I think it wasn't Jason Barrett a first round
Yeah, that
pick.
was like,
I feel like he was
7 years ago, though.
Hey, whatever. The Chargers, I feel like they always draft cornerbacks. So why not take CB1 with J.C. Horn? That's where I'm going with that. The Minnesota Vikings, I have them taking Kwity Paye out of Michigan. I think they got to get some pass rush. Look, it's as simple as you play Aaron Rodgers twice a year, put him on his back, he can't throw. That's as simple as it is for me. You got to get to him. And then the Patriots at 15. I did not have them trade up for a quarterback. I just don't think Bill Belichick's going to do it. I think if he wanted to trade up for a quarterback, why would you waste the money re-signing Cam Newton? Although I would like to see Cam and Justin Fields on the same team, because I know Justin Fields looked up to Cam. They're from they're like they grew up close together. Their hometowns are close together is what I meant. But I don't think the Patriots are going to trade up and get a quarterback. I think they stay at 15 and they get the quarterback of their defense, and that's Micah Parsons out of Penn State.
All righty. For me, whenever I'm looking at 11, man, it seems like RJ and I seem to be pretty much in consensus about a lot of picks. Go get yourself a hog wallop there, Gettleman. Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern coming to the Giants. Like you said, tackles back-to-back years. It doesn't sound right, but it's almost like the Raiders taking defensive line. It's going to happen. And we'll get to that pick later on. To the Philadelphia Eagles at number 12, I also have them going Jalen Waddle. On my board, Chase and Smith are both already gone. You need a wide receiver, like you said. Philadelphia will riot if there is not a wide receiver. And if I was the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, I would riot if there wasn't a wide receiver. When it comes to the Chargers, I have them taking Christian Darrisaw out of Virginia Tech. I think this is a little bit of a reach. I was hoping whenever I was doing this, I didn't do any. I knew these two gentlemen were going to do trades. I went straight down the board just to offer a little bit of a different insight. I didn't see where the Chargers could go if they didn't go offensive tackle. It's a similar situation with Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. You have your quarterback of the future. You need to protect him. On my board, Slater and Sewell are both gone now. Christian Darrisaw is a guy that I think was going to fall around the late teens into the 20s, but I think they have to go to protect their quarterback and reach up a little bit to go get him. On number 14, the Minnesota Vikings, Jamil said it best. It's either the line help on the front end or line help on the back end. I went with line help on the back end of things with defense. I went Jalen Phillips out of the U. I think he's going to be a nice little edge piece for them out in Minnesota if they were able to go get him. And I just made RJ's dreams come true. Sitting at 15, Justin Fields falls to the New England Patriots right into Bill Belichick's hands. The evil empire strikes back. It seems like it makes sense for everything RJ was saying about how Fields looks up to Cam and everything such as that. They have similar play styles. He's just a lot smaller. It's just slightly different body builds, but similar play types. I think this would be a nice person to try to sit behind Cam or even compete with him. I'm assuming if you're taking a first round quarterback, you're at least going to be in competition for the starting job. But it'd be a fun competition to see Fields and Newton. They are both very similar quarterbacks. I think they could both learn off of each other very well. Even Cam could learn a few things from Justin. And I think it'd be very interesting for both of those careers moving forward. I have Justin Fields falling at 15.
It would be cool if Cam and Fields were teammates because of, the connection, Georgia, all that. But I don't want to see them on the same team because I'm tired of Cam Newton disrespect. On this show, in the league, everywhere. Cam Newton's the quarterback, period. They don't need to go get one.
Hey, man, there's enough doubt for me to bring it up. Moving on to 16 through 20. Jamil, I'll start off with you. You did already mention your 16. We already know a little bit, so why don't you go ahead and you lead it off for us.
Yeah, that's my fault. All right, I got the Cardinals at 16, going with Greg Newsome III, cornerback. I have the Raiders following up with Micah Parsons. I have the Dolphins going with Jalen Phillips, even though I liked your pick to the Vikings. Washington, I have them going with Zaven Collins. Why not just keep adding to that defense? You already have the front four. Just keep adding chess pieces for that defense to work with. You have a good pass coverage linebacker and Holcomb. You get yourself a guy like Collins. You can just let him run around and do his thing. And then I have your Bears. I have them going with Christian Jericho.
Oh, I need that. That's exactly where I want him to fall. Man, if only. RJ, we'll turn it over to you, 16 through 20.
All right, here we go. So this might not be exactly what's going to happen. These next 5 are really just what I think should happen, actually. The Arizona Cardinals, they have made a commitment. They are going to score points. Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, like they want to score points. Go get a running back. Shocker, a running back going in the first round. I know it's asinine, but it's not the one you think. Travis Etienne is the best running back in this draft. It's not Najee, and I love me some Javonte Williams, but it's not him. Travis Etienne's the best running back. I think Arizona takes him. How likely is that? I don't know, but they should. At 17, I got the Raiders taking, let me get this name right, Jeremiah Owusu Karamoa, the linebacker from Notre Dame. Dude's a stud. And this is a big year for the Raiders. This is a big year for Mike Mayock, John Gruden, everybody. They got a hit on some of these picks. And I think that linebacker is not a sure thing because no one is. He's a stud, though. He'll be a day one starter, and that'll be an anchor on that defense. At 18, I have the Miami Dolphins also taking a running back. I know Mel Kiper's head's going to explode that a running back, not just one, but 2, and I don't know, maybe later 3, are going in the first round. I've got the Miami Dolphins taking Najee Harris. Again, like I said about Tua, give him weapons so we can accurately evaluate a quarterback that you spent a top 5 pick on. We got to give him help. At 19, I have the Carolina Panthers. They traded back with Washington. And I've got them taking Caleb Farley, the cornerback out of Virginia Tech. Listen, last year when I was driving the tank, the Carolina Panthers tank, there was one, slogan here. The corners were the key to the tank for the Carolina Panthers last year. They have no cornerbacks. If you're going to trade out of 8, you better go get a cornerback because they're going to fall. Caleb Farley, Virginia Tech, would be a great pick. 20, I have your Chicago Bears, Will, drafting Kadarius Toney. And the reason is because Matt Nagy loves these quick, fast little gadget players. And I think Kadarius Toney fits that mold perfectly. Do they need another weapon after bringing Allen Robinson back and not trading Anthony Miller? No, probably not. But I have zero faith in Ryan Pace or Matt Nagy. Kadarius Toney's the pick.
Hey, that a little hit of reality there. Yeah, you're not far off, unfortunately. I don't have much faith in them either, but we'll see exactly how they can go. Do we trade up for the next Trubisky? Who knows? We'll probably trade up to take Mac Jones. Let's just be honest. But
I actually can see that.
That would hurt my head so much. Moving on, for me, the 16 through 20, with the Arizona Cardinals going first, I have South Carolina quarterback J.C. Horn falling to him. They lost Patrick Peterson. He's going to Minnesota. They are in desperate need of quarterback help. They need something out there. The rest of their defense, it got a lot more interesting with J.J. Watt in the situation, in the equation now. So why not go ahead and go attack the secondary now? Budda Baker's been absolutely electric. You need somebody to keep an eye on those receivers, though. Budda Baker can't cover everywhere. I mean, he can, but he shouldn't. Get somebody else out there that can help out Baker a little bit. Number 17, Vegas, you got to do it. They're going to go defensive line. They always do. Christian Barmore from Alabama, interior defensive lineman, is going to go out there. They don't have anybody up the middle. They don't. It's kind of a skeleton crew. For as much defensive line as they have drafted, you would think somebody would fall in there. Not really. So I have them going Christian Barmore. At number 18, for the Miami Dolphins, their second pick in the first round, I have them going Kwity Paye. I know both of you had Kwity Paye going a little bit higher. I still think Jalen Phillips is the first edge off the board, and I think Kwity Paye falls down to Miami, and I think this is a great pick for Miami. You're getting a lot of value here at 18, being able to snag him out of Michigan. I think that's an amazing pick. Like I said, going down the board, this is who I have next with Washington. Personally, if I was Washington in this spot, I wouldn't take here from the names that have already been selected. But since I left them at 19, I have them going Tevin Jenkins, the offensive tackle out of OK State. They need offensive line. Their defense is absolutely amazing. And as much as it'd be fun to add to it still, at a point, you need to address the other side of the ball. They need to figure out a lot of things. They need to figure out quarterbacks. Obviously, I already have the 5 gone, so you can't go quarterback there in this. They need a lot of help on the offensive side to figure things out. And I at least just start by bolstering your offensive line a little bit. And then at 20, my Chicago Bears, we need tackles. We need tackles so bad. But in my draft, 4 have already been taken. So I'm going with the first interior offensive lineman. I'm going Elijah Vera Tucker out of USC. I think this is a great value pick at 20. There has been talks of him going anywhere between 15 to like 25. So I like the pick at 20. I think this is going to be a nice fit. It gives the ability to move somebody on the outside that's already on the interior. Maybe get James Daniels pushed outside. He should be coming back this year. Maybe you see Cody Whitehair going back to guard. You know, there's all types of movements that can be happening on that offensive line of the Bears. And I think we need to find a way to get Bobby Massey off the line at every single cost possible. So go attack offensive line. Go get somebody that can help you out in that scenario. Now going on to 21 through 25, Indianapolis through Jacksonville, currently on the board before trades and everything such as that. I'll turn it over to RJ. RJ, who do you have going at 21?
So I didn't really know what the Colts needed. They have a pretty good offensive line, but you made a big move to go get a quarterback, Carson Wentz, who I think is going to perform well actually in Indy, reuniting him with Frank Reich. I called that a couple months before it happened, by the way. Never going to let y'all forget that.
It is true.
I've got the Colts taking Elijah Vera Tucker, offensive lineman out of USC. Give Wentz more protection. We saw what happened in Philly when he didn't have protection. They ran him out of town. The guy wasn't any good. So protect him at all costs. You got to do it. At 22, I have the Tennessee Titans taking Jalen Phillips out of Miami. They need to get to the quarterback. Let's start there. They weren't – last year, their pass rush was not as good as it was the year before. I feel like they had trouble getting to the quarterback. Jalen Phillips is a stud. This is a guy that was a number 1 recruit coming out of high school. I don't think he's ever really shown that potential yet. I think in the NFL, great place to finally meet your potential, right? I think Tennessee takes Jalen Phillips. The Jets at 23. You made a big investment. Again, here we go. You took Zach Wilson at 2. What do you need to do? You need to protect him. I would say give him weapons or protect him. But looking at it right now, I don't love the weapons. Go ahead and protect him. Take an offensive lineman, Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State. Zach Wilson's little. Let's not kid ourselves here. He got beat up. Go back and watch that Coastal Carolina game last year. He got beat up, and he was rattled, and he was just not himself. You better protect him if you think you're going to get the good Zach Wilson and not the rattled Zach Wilson that lost to Coastal Carolina. So you better protect him. And then here we go. The Pittsburgh Steelers at 24. Their biggest hole is running back. And I know I already had 2 running backs get drafted. And Mel Kiper his head would explode if 3 running backs went in the first round of the draft. Well, cleanup crew, get ready. Because I think the Pittsburgh Steelers need to go get my boy Javonte Williams out of North Carolina. They need a running back. This might be Big Ben's last hurrah this season. You better put some talent around him if y'all think y'all can make one more run and try to do something. I don't know how possible that is, but go take Javonte Williams out of North Carolina. Someone has to run the ball. Is it Benny Snell? Because I don't think it's going to be. Javonte Williams, RB1 in Pittsburgh. 25 Jaguars. Listen, same story, different verse. Big investment. Trevor Lawrence, protect him. Christian Darrisaw, his slide finally ends, and he finds a home in Jacksonville, protecting touchdown Jesus.
Hey, there you go. Touchdown Jesus, indeed. 3 running backs. That's fun. This is why we do this. This is a good time. Mel Kiper is crying. Even though I called you Mel Kiper before we got started, little did I know I was very far off. I'll turn it over to you, Jamil, 21 through 25.
Starting for the Colts for me, they just lost Anthony Costanzo to retirement, so you got to show up their offensive line again. I have them going with Tevin Jenkins. The Titans, they have a need at receiver. They have a need on the defensive line. I have them attacking their receiver need. They just lost Corey Davis. I have them replacing him with Rashad Bateman. Surprise, surprise, they both played for PJ Fleck in college. The Jets, I have them going with the corner that would have been a top 10 pick if not for his back issues. Caleb Farley, I have his slide ending to the Jets. They get an upside corner to pair up with that defense. Following that, I have the Steelers going with the first running back for me, Najee Harris. I think he can be the bell call back that they need. Benny Stowe can split time with him. I was very close to giving them a center, though. They need to strip the offensive line again. And for the Jaguars, I have them going with Jeremiah Owusu-Karma out of Notre Dame. I think he's going to be able to fly around for that defense in Jacksonville.
All righty, moving on for me, 21. This is what I thought was, in my opinion, the steal of the draft. Which kind of shocked me to hear that Jamil hadn't had him going until later, even after this. I had Caleb Farley going to 21 at the Indianapolis Colts. I like what both of you said about offensive line to Indianapolis with Costanzo out. It makes perfect sense. But in my draft, there's just not an offensive lineman that I deem worthy enough to go in the first round. And the Indianapolis Colts still need cornerback help. This is the rest of their defense is absolutely amazing. Their defense was an amazing unit last year, top 5 in the league easily. But why not keep adding to it? The rich get richer in this situation. I have Caleb Farley going to Indianapolis at 22. I fell along the lines with RJ here to get to the quarterback with Tennessee. I have Azeez Ojulari from UGA, from the University of Georgia, going to them at 22. I think that'll be a nice edge pick and another experiment to go after there. At 23, if I was the Jets, I wouldn't take here. This is another one of those situations where, yes, you should protect your quarterback, and yes, you should get weapons. And I didn't have them do either of that. I had them go Greg Newsome, the second, the cornerback out of Northwestern. What isn't of need out in New York? I almost said New Jersey because that's where they actually play. But what isn't of need out there? Now you have Zach Wilson. Sure, you've got that locked up, but what else is actually locked up for the Jets organization? You got to go get somebody. I have them going to go get a cornerback. At number 24, I like Najee Harris, and I originally had Najee Harris, and I scratched it out, and I went Zayvon Collins. From the fact that they lost Bud Dupree, I think that their linebacking core needs help. This is definitely, I love the pick of Najee Harris there, and I could totally see it happening, and it probably will happen. But I still think that Zayvon Collins, just for the sake of this, I had him going there instead. I think they need a little bit more linebacker help, and yes, they need running backs. But again, running back is one of those positions to where it can wait and you can get really good value later on. And I think there could be some sleeper running backs later on in this draft that Pittsburgh might look at instead. And then at number 25, the Jacksonville Jaguars, I have going wide receiver, a new weapon for touchdown Jesus, as referred to by RJ. I have Rashad Bateman, the wide receiver out of Minnesota. I think he could go out there with, right now, he's the best wide receiver on my list. With obviously not getting Kyle Pitts, I don't think Pat Fairmouth is good enough to come out and go get it that tight end in the first round. I think you have to go offense here. You have to keep it moving, and to get somebody else out there to have somebody so Trevor Lawrence can target, I think is your best bet. So Bateman at 25.
So I've had this argument with my friends for the last couple of years, and you just mentioned it again. You don't have to take a running back in the first round because you can get running backs whenever. You can find them wherever. When did we decide that? If you just draft the best players, instead of saying, oh, you can just go get a running back later, how about instead of that, just take the running back because they're good? Like, don't pass on Travis Etienne just because, oh, we can get Chuba Hubbard later. Like, that's not comparable. If they are good enough, go ahead and take them. I don't understand. Maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way. You can't just get a running back whenever if the running backs are already gone, just take the running back instead of waiting till later. Like, just take the running back if they are that good. And I believe Najee Harris and Travis Etienne are that good. Just take them. Don't worry about, we can get one later. No. Take the best one now. And we won't worry about later because you already got the best one. Like, it's probably a hard thing. I'm not going to explain it right, but just start taking running backs. Whatever. It's pissing me off.
I don't know if it's just for me. The thing is, a running back is a product of his offensive line. If his offensive line is there, no matter who the running back is, typically, if you know how to find a hole, you can make something work. And maybe that's just where other people look at it as well. I agree with you with the fact that if the stud running back is there and you need a running back, it makes total sense. But a lot of the preconceived idea is that you can get somebody later on. And that's the whole reason I didn't go Najee Harris. Like I said, I mean, you can see it right there in black pen, man. I crossed his name out and everything. Like I had him written there and I just went against it just because of the preconceived idea of the NFL. I mean, back half of the draft in the first round is typically where you start seeing them go. So 24 is not a bad spot for any running back at all. But for me, it's just one of those to where everybody seems to avoid running backs like the plague in the first round. And so I don't know what it is. It doesn't make any sense to me. That's why we see big names go in the second round, third round, so on and so forth. It doesn't make logical sense. We saw Jonathan Taylor fall out of round 1 last year. The guy who took the NCAA by storm. And
exactly. And that's what I was going to say is you've got guys like Dalvin Cook and Jonathan Taylor. Those are the first two that popped in my head.
Yeah.
Neither one of those were first round picks. Oh, well, that shows me that you can get a running back later. No. That shows me that these teams were stupid and they should have taken the running back in the first round. Dalvin Cook was absolutely a first round talent. I wanted him to come to Tampa, but we took OJ Howard. Jonathan Taylor was absolutely a first round talent. Why these teams have it's like they've sent out a league-wide memo saying, hey, we're not going to take running backs. Let's let them fall, pay them dirt cheap, and then get rid of them so we don't have to pay them. Like, I don't understand. If they're good, just take them.
It's a league-wide devaluing of the position. We could do a whole video on it after, RJ.
We really could.
It's a worldwide. It's a league-wide. That's just the position is getting devalued, and when the position gets devalued, teams say, "Oh, why would we pay one guy so money? We can get two guys, pay him the same, and try to get the same production or the same amount of carries out of him to do it." It's like how baseball's going with analytics. It's like how can we pay this price and this price to get the production this guy's doing for less? Is basically what's happening with running backs in the NFL.
It's NFL Moneyball.
I love what you said, Jamil. Try. You can try to get the same production. The Bucs have tried. Now, I mean, Super Bowl makes everything, hindsight's 2020 here. The Bucs tried to get Dalvin Cook production out of Ronald Jones and whoever else we had. I'm talking
playoff Lenny.
Oh, Peyton Barber.
Peyton Barber. We tried to get Dalvin Cook production out of Ronald Jones and Peyton Barber.
And that's the question, that's why it doesn't make any sense.
That's definitely something we can unpack next week, RJ.
It's definitely something that doesn't make sense. And I'm sure if we do a draft recap, which I'm sure we will, it'd be full circle. We're probably going to be right back in these seats talking about the same exact thing. Almost guarantee it. But while we're here, 26 through 30, let's go ahead and wrap around the draft here. And if you want, go ahead and mention 31, 32. Let's just go ahead and take it to the end. 26 on Jamil. I'll start with you with the Cleveland Browns at 26.
Of the Cleveland Browns, I stuck between two things. Actually, I stuck between three things. I almost gave him Asante Samuel Jr. I almost gave him Elijah Moore. I ended up settling with Christian Barrymore to play D tackle for the Browns. For the Ravens, I was stuck on two different people. I was stuck between Jason Owe and I was stuck on Aziz I'm going to butcher his last name.
Aziz Ojulari, yes.
Ojulari. I'm going to give them Aziz. I think he's a good pass rusher at Georgia that the Ravens are going to be able to play around with. I have the Saints going linebacker of Kentucky player Jamin Davis. I have the Packers making a bit of what some people would be a surprise pick. I have them going Kadarius Toney. I have them finally giving the Aaron Rodgers a weapon. I think he can be a little gadget player. Again, at that position, I was stuck between a couple guys. I was stuck between Elijah Moore. Again, I think he's the best slot receiver in the draft. And I was stuck between Rondell Moore. I think he's going to be a good gadget player in the second round as well. And the Bills, I have them attacking the one position that they really got no production out of last year, and that's running back. You have a couple of big running backs on this team. You have Moss and you have Singletary. You don't have a speed guy that can break the game open, someone you could throw a swing pass to that could take the ball 40 yards on the sidelines. I think Travis Etienne is going to be able to unlock a lot of that offense, even though they don't run the ball very much. I think he'll be able to be effective in the air for them. For the Ravens, I have them with their second first-round pick from the Chiefs. I have them going with safety Trevon Moehrig out of TCU. I think he's the best single high safety in the draft. I think he's going to be able to cover a lot of ground for them. And for the Bucs finishing off, I have them going with a pass rusher. I have them going with more of a project player in Jason Owe from Penn State. I think he's going to be able to sit behind the veteran presence of Shaq Barrett and JPP, and he's going to be able to come in and substitute and bring some speed off the edge.
Just off of first impression, I can tell you that running back at pick number 30 for Buffalo might be a general consensus. RJ, I'll turn it over to you, 26 through 32.
So the Cleveland Browns, after signing Clowney and after adding more pieces in that secondary, that defense looks very good up front and in the back end. The problem is going to be the middle. They don't have any linebackers. They do not have any linebackers that are any good. So they need to draft a couple, honestly, take more than one. I have them taking Jamin Davis out of Kentucky at 26. Any production they can get out of the linebackers, this defense would be scary, and Baker might not have to do much to win that division if that defense can play like that. 27, the Ravens. Please, I said it a million times last year, please give Lamar some help. I don't want to see another Cam Newton where we nickel and dime him with Philly Brown and Ted Ginn and Devin Funchess and Kelvin Benjamin. No. Give Lamar some help. I know we're not predicting trades on here. I have them going Rashad Bateman. And I'll go ahead and ruin it. Their other pick at 31, I have them going Terrence Marshall from LSU. Two receivers within 4 or 5 picks of each other. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Baltimore Ravens, I don't know if it'll be both picks. One of those picks is going to the Atlanta Falcons for Julio Jones. They need to make a splash. Lamar Jackson is an MVP, face of your franchise, could be one of the faces of the league. Give him some help. I think they go get Julio Jones, but for the sake of a mock draft, I've got him taking Rashad Bateman at 27. Please help Lamar. 28, I've got the Saints taking Azeez Ojulari. That name's not that hard to know. You play in the same division as Brady. If he's on his back, he can't throw. So you got to do what you got to do there. At 29, Green Bay Packers. I mentioned earlier, they don't draft receivers. Let's get weird. 3 running backs are going. Let's get the Packers a receiver. I think they draft Rondale Moore. That would be a weapon for Aaron Rodgers to go with Devontae Adams, since they haven't traded for Odell like I thought they would, and I hope they don't trade for Julio.
I think they should. I was going to say that.
No. We do not need to see Aaron Rodgers throwing to Julio Jones. That's disgusting. I have them taking Rondale Moore out of Purdue. The guy's electric. I mean, the guy is absolutely electric. Every time he touches the ball, him in Green Bay would be a movie. The Buffalo Bills, I have them taking Zaven Collins out of Tulsa. I know you guys have them taking running backs. Look, Devin Singletary, yeah, he's not great. Zach Moss, he was a rookie. I'm not going to give up on somebody after 1 year unless you're absolutely horrendous. Again, you can get a running back later anyway, so why would you take one at 30, right? You can just wait and get one later. Maybe Michael Carter in the second round. Go Heels. 31, I already said, the Ravens taking Terrence Marshall. Again, please help Lamar. I'm tired of seeing him throw to Willie Snead. The Bucs. No one that they draft this year is going to start. This team is loaded. So you're just drafting depth. So the Bucs are in a position, it's a luxury pick. You can just take the best player available. I think the best player available is Gregory Rousseau, the edge rusher from Miami. Let him kind of rotate in when JPP or Shaq need to, go get a drink of water or whatever. This guy can not get thrown into the wolves. He's got JPP and Shaq in front of him. Come in on third down here or there, learn from a couple of the best, and go ahead and get his ring size because Tampa's going back to back.
I like that pick for the Bucks. I was between the guy I went with from Penn State and Rosso.
Fair enough. Fair enough. For me to wrap it up, 26, I have what seems to be a consensus steal in this draft as well, from how we all have ranked him higher than this. I have Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah going to the Cleveland Browns at 26. I think this is an amazing pick. Imagine Koramoah, imagine Myles Garrett, and imagine just Bradley Chubb all coming at you. No, Bradley Chubb's on the Denver Broncos. What the fuck am I talking about?
Myles Garrett.
Yeah, imagine Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah and damn it, and Myles Garrett coming at you at the same time. No thanks. I would not want to put up with that, and I don't think a lot of people would want to put up with that. So I think that's a great pick for them. Linebacker is definitely something they need here. So I think that's a great spot for Owusu-Koramoah. 27, I have Trayvon Moehrig going to the Baltimore Ravens, the first safety in my draft. I think this is almost a lock for me. I don't know why. I think it's going to blend in. I can't tell you who a safety is on the Ravens. Unfortunately, I can tell you who a wide receiver is on the Ravens, but only because they're so bad. But the safeties on the Ravens are so forgettable, I can't even tell you who it is. So I have them addressing that and going safety at 27. At 28, I have the Saints going with Kadarius Toney. I think that there is a desperate need for wide receiver help past Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas also saw some injury issues last year, couldn't see the field much, and if I'm not mistaken, didn't score a touchdown. Definitely need a wide receiver out there to kind of draw the attention away from MT13 and just to see if you can make something happen with him out there. So Kadarius Toney's the pick for me. 29, Elijah Moore going to the Green Bay Packers. This is my nightmare. I don't want this to happen, but I think they might finally take a wide receiver. If they do what I think they could do, maybe they go another quarterback, and I will laugh forever. Poor Jordan Love. But that will make my day. But unfortunately for them, I should say, unfortunately for me, I have them going Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss. At number 30, I have the first running back, and unfortunately the only running back going in the first round, Najee Harris from Alabama going to Buffalo. I think that Travis Etienne being left into the second round is an absolute sin. But it's one of those to where, like I said, if Najee Harris goes to Pittsburgh, this is going to be Travis Etienne for me. It's one of those to where I still think Etienne's the number one running back in the draft, just from a durability and a whole entire playing game standpoint. But this is just who I had going for Buffalo. Najee Harris will be the pick. At number 31 with Baltimore, Gregory Rousseau. Add to the defense, try to bolster it up. I think a nice edge would be good for them. I can't think of who their edge is. They had a lot of interior presence last year. I think you need to go get some guys to be on the outside. And then at number 32, similar to what RJ said, it's just a luxury pick. But I agreed with Jamil there, and I went Jason Owe out of Penn State, going at 32 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Get your ring size, buddy. Back to back. So after that, that's the whole first round. Is there anybody on your guys' boards that you that kind of shocked you that you left off, or who you think should just be first round talent but is being left to the second round?
Well, if with my first round, Christian Barmore getting left out of the first round, that's a slide, and that would be a steal. And if this happens, I think Jacksonville should absolutely pick him at number 33. That dude should not fall far into the second round. I had him fall out of the first round just because I like the fits a little differently for some of these teams. Also because I had three running backs. So Christian Barmore would be the big steal for me.
Jamil?
Yeah, I definitely think any of the running backs that end up slipping out of the first round. I know we had a couple of them going high, but realistically, the way the NFL is going, like we said, it's probably not going to happen. And I think any of those top running backs against the second round will be steals. I think Asante Samuel Jr. will be a steal at the top of the second round. And I was teetering between Elijah Moore and Rondale Moore at the top of the first round. I think they're going to be electric players as well in the NFL.
Yeah, Travis Etienne is definitely the number one that I said stood out to me that he didn't go in round one. There's always some stud running back that seems to go in the second round. I don't see why it wouldn't be him this year. Though I could see him getting picked in the first round very easily and where I think he should be. So we'll see that there. And then Rondell Moore was kind of the other guy I was leaning a little bit. Didn't really see too many people on the defensive side of things that I thought could go in the first round that didn't in my draft. But yeah, so that brings us to the end of it. That's the end of the mock draft here, at least for the first round. We could do 7 rounds, but I don't have that kind of time. So you get what you get, and we'll move on. So I'm sure we'll come back. We'll do a draft recap. We did that last year. That was our first ever video. Why not go ahead and run it back? So we'll be back here after day 3 of the draft, and we'll all come up and we'll collectively talk about it. We'll break down winners and losers, talk about steals and reaches and everything such as that. And we'll come back and afterwards let us know who you think is a steal or a terrible pick. Give us all the crap you want in the comment section. We'd love to see that. And then don't forget to follow us on all social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything such as that. Now we have Twitch as well, where Matt has been currently streaming MLB The Show. And we're working on getting some other people into that as well, such as myself, maybe such as Jamil. We'll figure out ways to get that going as well. So GMs for everything, really. So go ahead and go follow us on all platforms. And until next time, thanks again for a great first year of GMs for Hire. And for RJ and Jamil, we'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy.